Welcome to the Quality Coding Stream. I'm John Reed, author of iOS Unit Testing by Example. I've got quality coding in various forms and places, and I am a technical agile coach at Industrial Logic, where we do coaching. Hey, Mudshark. So, welcome. My first question is, can you, not you folks watching on YouTube because of licensing, but can you, Mudshark, hear any music? Especially if I turn it up. Let me know. This is a test. No. Okay, that does not work. I don't have it set up then. That's all right. I'll work on that some more. I was hoping to add some, trying to figure out how to get Twitch music that's licensed for streaming and have it go out on the streaming channels, but I guess I don't have it hooked up right. All right, and quick hello to folks who are not watching live but are watching on YouTube. And you have the advantage of being able, of course, to set the playback speed to something fast, like 2x, so that you're not sitting there while I'm thinking about live coding. And so welcome. Give this a like and subscribe. Hit the bell for all the notifications so that you know when I have new videos up. Mudshark, you may be the only one, but at least it's good to have you because, you know, I think I'm still like in a weird distorted time zone off of you where we, camera's a little funny there. In the United States have shifted to daylight savings time, but I don't think you have yet. So glad to have you. Also, for anyone who is, hey, Garbob, good to have you. Oh, you have caught up. All right. Well, good. That makes life easier, and we don't have that weird out of sync situation. Good to have you, folks. For anyone who maybe, I don't think we have anyone live yet at the moment, but anyone who is watching this recording from Russia, I value you. I love the interactions we've had. I've met some good Russian coders and had great conversations, but please know that your government leaders are deceiving you, that you are presently engaged in a war of aggression against Ukraine for no good purpose. All right. Let's get back to the task at hand. We are working on this, trying to make this library into a Swift package manager version. To do that, we need to convert to one. It's a mixed language. It needs to be all in one language, unfortunately. I wish that weren't so. That would avoid all this problem. Coming down here, deeper, 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 deeper in the tree. We spent at least 2 sessions monkeying around with trying to get this arrow direction, only to find out to get it so that a read-only property, I could write it, only to find out I don't actually use that. Like, that was unfortunately probably a leftover from my first stab years ago when I was first coding it in Objective-C, and I thought I needed it, and I left it that way, and I don't need it. So we're back at trying to initialize our own popover so that we can control it and return it and write to it. And I did, oops, wrong app code. I didn't mean that. I don't want that app code. I want this app code. The difference is that this is the EAP. I forget what that stands for, but it's the public beta. I usually try to live on it. Sometimes the public beta doesn't do so well, but that's pretty unusual. And when it doesn't do well, I'm able to give them, like, you know, file reports and actually track them. Amazing. All right, so we are trying to find, well, first let's make sure we are green. We want to stay green. At all times, we want to move in small steps. Ah, we've got a few more people join. Great. And I'm enjoying being on my new setup where I've got a little, like 10-inch monitor down here. I can actually see the screen. At least I can see OBS for a change. And I've got a Loop Deck Live that I'm using to control things, and it also has a widget to let me see how many folks are live and stuff like that, so I don't need that little thing in the corner anymore. All right, so Popover. Let's find where we are. We are working in this code here. That's it. Okay. We've got popover problems. We've had popover problems. Let me bring the problems back online by changing the swizzling, which is currently calling the Objective-C initializer, and we can, just by adding a 2, there we go. Now it's calling the one down below. And this should bring back the failing test, as expected, that there's a problem with popover. We know this. We've been battling this. All right. So, popover here. Where I was trying to make my own copy of UI Popover Presentation Controller, I think I have found that I do not need such a thing. And where I was also trying to initialize UI Popover Presentation Controller just by calling raw init and couldn't, well, oh, what's this? You presented view controller too. That's okay. I see. So this is my own convenience init that's creating the popover. Oh, okay. Here we go. I don't think we need this, because this was to create, this initializer was supposed to create this associated object so that I could track in here arrow direction as another thing. I don't think I need this. Pretty sure I don't. So instead of calling this presented view controller 2, let's call the real thing. And so that makes all this dead code down below. I'm pretty sure this will still fail. But now, where we have the call to popover at the top, or do I have one? Yeah, popover presentation controller. I should be able to return the one we made. Oop, hey, go away. Let's give this a try. So, doggone it, it keeps popping up the help because of how I'm hovering. Sorry about that. So I need a special, I think what I need is actually for the getter to return not mock popover presentation controller, but this one. Like it should just return this. I think I can do this. Let's give it a try. The error is that there is no member mock popover. All right. What exactly is this? This is the ObjectiveC thing. Okay, so the ObjectiveC, I don't know why it hopped over to the headers instead. Probably because it's hopping through Swift. The ObjectiveC header for, bear with me a second. UIAlertController. There, this one. That this is returning maybe I can do this in small, trying to do this in small steps. Maybe I can set this to return, say, the one I want. But it doesn't know what it is because this is over on the ObjectiveC side. But this is very small. Maybe I can do something really small like this. And bring it over to the Swift side of things. Let's give this a try. Here we go. Over in Swift, let's get to our alert controller. Oh. Well, no, these are the extra properties. Wait a second. Maybe this is what I need. Because this is shoved in the extra properties. This is Popover Presentation Controller 2, currently returning nil if it can't. Maybe this is what I need. Let's try this. Popping all over here on you. And this says use getter, okay. Drum roll. Not entirely surprised because I think there was something down here. Okay, we'll keep working down here. So this is now being called, hopefully. And this should get, oh, let's see the message. So it's still here. I should be able to return the extra properties of mock popover. There. I think that's it. Ah! Finally. Finally, finally, finally. Hooray. The code was there kind of all along, but not exactly. But now it's in play. And you know what? We are green. I'm gonna commit this. This is like show it. This is a test supported Hey Rick, welcome. Good to have you along with other folks who are lurking. Hey, if you're lurking, say hi. You can keep lurking. And it's not a commitment to stick around. By the way, if you're new here, I run my I do my live coding for 1 hour so as not to wear you out. And so that we can get on with other things in our lives, but that keeps me coming back. Hopefully that keeps other folks coming back also. All right, so this is a test supported procedural refactoring. Like all this stuff is finally and this is, so that's all I need. This is switch Swift Popover now provided by Swift. Yay! So now we got some dead code. Oh, finally, finally, finally. Let's get rid of dead code. And now we can just start stripping stuff out, I think. So like this, I'm pretty sure this is not called anymore, but let's just start going here. As long as we're green, it's good. And so I don't think this is used anymore. I wish app code were a little better for Swift in graying things out that are not used. Unfortunately, app code is still better on the Objective-C side, which I don't get a chance to use much these days. But I'm going to keep going there. I don't think I need this. Got an undeclared selector or something warning there. That might be it. Oh, this one I don't use. Don't use that. Let me comment this out. Great. I'm going to, that was several steps. So since we're not doing TCR where the commits are done automatically for me, remove now dead code. Now I'll still try to do small steps. All right, so now we've got this Popover presentation controller, which I think I can get rid of, except that we've got dead code on the, whoops, on the Objective-C side. So let's see what we can eliminate over here. So here, Objective-C actually shows this is never used. So I should be able to do a safe delete, which will wipe it out not only in, you see it updated not only the header file, but the implementation file because it wiped it out. And this, let me test that. More dead code. And now this is grayed out. So let's see. Yeah, and sometimes probably it still gets it wrong because of how Swift is involved, but let's try a safe delete. Good. Oh, I don't need to type it. Here's a nice thing. If I just want to repeat the last message, I can just say up here in the message history, I can say, yeah, that's a good one. Just do that again. And now what's left? There's nothing here. If I go over to here, this looks dead because it's grayed out. So let me try to get rid of that. Good. This. This is still used over here, but is this used? This one it's not sure of. But let me try. Oh, look at this code going away. So tasty. And now, is this no longer used? Safe delete that. Haha. Look at this. I think we're getting down to like nothing. And what's using this? What's using... Okay, we still got some stuff using this notification name. But that's easy enough. There's nothing left in here. There's nothing left in here. There's nothing left in here. All right. We now have a name. Single name. But let's do more dead code. And here it's showing me, this is another nicety of app code, is that when I hover over something or when I'm about to take an action, it shows me the shortcut so that I can begin to like say, oh, message history, Control M. And then if I want to, oop, that doesn't work. All right, good, commit. So much going away. Now we're left with the notification name, which is called from ObjectiveC, so I don't want to move it. But the alert controller stuff is all gone. Maybe I can move this by itself to where it's used, and that way at least it will not be an issue. Let's do that. Let me grab this, pull it up here. Along with the notification names. Yeah, okay. Just keep it with the others. This should still pass. And therefore, this should now go away. Nope. Okay, what happened when I removed the declaration? Oh, okay. Something in the Swift side of things is also using it. All right, that's fine. I'll bring over the declaration. Come on. Over to this header file instead. Slap it in there. And now I don't need it here. Aha! This is more dead code. Dead code. Oh, this feels good. And now we're left with emptiness. So I should be able to delete the implementation file. And that should still pass. And this was alert, this was UIAlertController. Which one was it? This one. Should be able to delete this and pop it off. Whoop. View usages. Oh, so this is nice. Again, more app code benefits. You saw I removed the .m. That's in Objective-C, you have a header and an implementation rather than it being all mixed together. And I went to delete I deleted the implementation, the .m. It's gone. In fact, I should check that in. And that removed it from the project file, then got rid of that. So this is also safe. So this is delete. And it offers to fill in that. So I get rid of that, and that's good. All right. But now, when I try to delete the header file, it warns me. This is something you don't get in Xcode. And this is something I see a lot with Xcode folks in particular. And of course, there's nothing stopping you from doing this in app code either, but except that it's offering some helps here. What I see, the pattern I see so often is people break stuff and then go fix it. Say, oh, well, now I've got all these errors. I'll show you what I mean. If I just delete this and say, yeah, delete it anyway. Fine. Great. And now I'll run tests. You know, nothing was using it, right? Oh, but there was. Oh, but there was. So let me reset to bring it back. There it is. And now let's try it again. Where is it? UI alert. I keep forgetting which one it is. That's not it. That's it. So let's try it again. And this time it says, well, view the usages. And here are the things that are unsafe. Derived data, I don't care about. Not sure why it's looking in there. But here we go. I can navigate here. I can actually edit it over on this side and say, oh, and here, something else I miss about working in ObjectiveC is I can say, optimize the imports, or just here's one useless import. Let's just do this. So remove that. Same down here. This one, it didn't identify as useless. Not sure why, but let's just try deleting that. Let me expand all of these. So it walked me through, and now I can run tests. And that's good. And I'm going to commit that. Don't import that. And now I can find it again. Now I can try the safe delete again. And it still says there's a usage. Rerun. Okay, now it's confused. I'm going to say just do it. There. And so I avoided red, right? Again, let me reiterate that if you do compiler-driven development, and there's nothing wrong with compiler-driven development, where this is a classic technique that goes back to refactoring legacy code, Michael Feather's book, called Lean on the Compiler, to say, well, let me just try something and we'll see what the compiler says. There's nothing wrong with that. What I do have a problem with is when people just break a whole bunch of stuff, and then you end up with a bunch of like red in the column. Even Xcode shows this, all the red spots. And at Industrial Logic, our CEO calls those the rash. If you've got red spots all over, you've got a rash. We want to avoid rashes, because then you're in red and things are broken. Stay in green as much as possible, and we minimize the time in red. And we can do that mainly by reordering our steps. In particular, by saying, oh, this is blocked. It's kind of like this whole discovery tree business, or more like the Mikado method, which is sort of related, to say, this is a precondition, then I need to do it and finally get to a leaf node. And once I get to a leaf node, then I can pop it off, and then the thing that's further up is done. So I have just removed all this. Have I checked it in? I have not checked it in. All right. Woohoo! Let's go back here. So all this was unnecessary. And we can just wipe it out. And now comes the fun part. Initialize own popover. Done. So the popover part is done. So the initializer is done. So the UI alert controller is done. And now somebody looking at this can say, oh, wow, there we go. In fact, once things are done, like once everything in one level is done, here's another nice thing about the discovery tree. The purpose of the discovery tree is to give everybody a visualization of the work that we have discovered so far, and what's done and what's left to do. We don't need all these details anymore. So this goes away. Oops. In fact, I'll just go like this. All these. Hey, delete area and content. Oh, didn't quite get that. There. And now this is where we are. UI Alert Controller is done. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Took a battle, and I was afraid last week that we'd end up in a situation where getting rid of all Objective-C was not feasible. We still may bump into a situation like that. We don't know what else awaits us, but at least we were able to do that. So UI Alert Controller is done. Anyone can looking at that can see that. And now what's the team working on? Team being me. Well, and you, actually, I shouldn't say me. You guys have contributed a lot along the way. Now I can see, okay, UI Alert Controller, UI Alert Action is next. So this is, I hope this is clarifying for you as you see it today, and yeah, dead code, dead, is to get rid of stuff. Like, you don't get rid of information you don't need anymore. What's the team working on? We don't need the details of what happened. Now, if you want all the details of what happened, so that, especially if you're like, oh, shoot, what were the steps, in case you need to repeat them, you can also tie these to a tracking system, whatever you use to track tickets with, just by including ticket numbers in here. And somebody could potentially update the tickets, but we live in a Jira happy world, and so much effort goes into managing all that stuff. A new idea I learned about since joining Industrial Logic is not a new idea at all. It's the 7 types of waste in Lean. Let's see here. Here we go. Let me, here. I want that to go away. No, I don't need help, and I want that to go away. All right. 7 types of waste in Lean. Lean is a mentality, a mindset, an approach to manufacturing, and there are parallels to software development. Sometimes the things don't map exactly, but things that are sources of waste are things like defects. Yeah, well, that's clear, right? If you have a defect, that causes you to waste. But if you have a whole bunch of stuff that you're tracking, that's inventory. That's inventory. Because then you have to track like what's going on, what all the tickets are, what's the status of this, that, and the other thing, when you could just put it all on a simple whiteboard, just like we've been doing. Ticketing systems are, you may not be able to get away from them completely, but we should minimize their use. So I'm just looking at this, thinking that there are other types, just starting to imagine for a bit, like wasted motion. What is that in terms of software development? I think that we could do that by moving things that are related closer to each other and things that are unrelated farther away. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back. We've still got some time on the board. Any questions so far? And for new folks, you old folks, you know, you're always welcome to chime in with anything. You know that. But for anyone new who's watching, and you've got a question not only about what I've just done, but about, like, you just want to ask John a random question, ask John a random question. I say, speaking of myself in third person. Weird. All right. But with this UI alert action, actually, one more thing I want to do is run the tests for you know what? I'm just going to let my CI take care of it. So here we are 9 commits ahead. I'm just going to push and move forward. If there's a problem with other aspects of this code, we'll find out later. I'm okay with that. All right. So next is to find out what's it going to take to convert UI alert action. Well, we don't know. So we start to find out. UI alert action. What's it got in here? Oh, actions. All right. Let's just to get. Let me just refresh my memory for what actions are like. Actions have, so these are the things in an alert, the buttons. Actions have a title, a style, they may or may not be enabled, and they have a handler. And I needed a way for this testing framework to say, I want to interrupt, I want to provide my own handler so that I can control it better. Let's see what's going on here. Let's go over to, oh, this is so much shorter. So the swizzling swizzles out action with title, style, handler. What? All right, so this is, yeah, this is a factory method. And instead swizzles it with mine so that I can provide my own action? Question mark? It looks like I'm keeping that in an associated object. All right. So in terms of how do we break this down into smaller steps, I can move the definition of the associated object let me just start. There's the associated object. Hang on a second. QCO mock handler. Oh, I see. I was taking the handler itself because I wanted to hang on to it. And I'm just jamming that in. Like I don't need a whole set of extra properties. I was just like, this is the one thing. But I wonder if that, let's go back and review what we did for UIAlertController. In fact, oh, there's still stuff to clean up here. All right. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's all right. Let's rerun tests. Let's get rid of more dead code. And there's a message here. What is this? UIAlertController. I mean, I deleted that, didn't I? It's probably just warning me because it still sees it in the cached stuff, the build artifacts saying, "What's this header? You haven't put it in the final thing." Okay, I'm not going to worry about that. In fact, let's double check our extra properties here a second. Oh, we've got more cruft. I've got QCO mock with title 2. And we did that because I didn't want to clash with the ObjectiveC name. So I can rename this now. All right, let's spend a little bit more time here. Look at this. Look at this. Dead. Okay. Got a little overeager. I think we're just going to spend the rest of our time cleaning this, and that's not a bad thing. To take a little bit of extra time going, let's just, yeah. Dead code, like you said, Mudshark, it's kind of like, I don't know. You're trying to sweep up a giant mess, and you leave bits in here, but you think, yeah, I'm going to come back to this. I'm hauling out this huge thing, and then you forget that you left that little thing. There is a tool I've found or I've seen in use only recently that does dead code analysis for Swift, and it's pretty good. There are some false positives and some false negatives. But it goes through and says, oh, shoot, this is not called, and therefore the thing that's calling it, well, maybe that doesn't need to be called either. And it actually works backwards to find a fairly reliable tree and a report of like, here are the things that are dead. All right, so let's just review here. We've got QCO mock swizzle. Why are these grayed out? And then later on, you think you need to rewrite it. Yeah. It's kind of like, exactly, like I had that junk. I had that fool arrow properties that I didn't clean up and that years later plagued me with weeks, well, sessions of getting tangled in something when I didn't need to rewrite it at all. Why are you grayed out? I don't know why you're grayed out. You're called right there. This is good. This is good. This is good. Don't need that blank line anymore. Attach extra properties. Now, here's the question. Sort of around the extra properties of the other here, this one here. Rather than creating a class for it, I could just say, well, I only need one thing, so I'm going to shove that in as my extra property. What I'm wondering is that true here as well? Like maybe I don't need a full thing of extra properties if all I'm going to use it for is, no, I've got various things here. Okay, and that's fine. I've got various things. I've got the preferred style mock popover. I'm not sure I like that name. But at least now I know I can't get rid of the extra properties class. I still want it. Naming. Let me clean this up again. More dead code, dead code. Oh, no, I didn't say the name of the dead code analysis tool because as I'm talking about it, because I'm not a multitasker by nature. Well, none of us are, but because I am a person of a very simple mind and an introvert, when I'm talking, I can't think. And I'm trying to remember what is the name of that tool. Let's do a quick search and see if we can't find it. Dead code analysis, and it will probably come up. Periphery, here it is. I will put this in the chat here. By the way, some of you have tried to post links in the past and have been blocked by my checker. Those of you who are regulars should now have the ability to post links instead of being blocked. And those of you who have joined in recently and are commenting, I'll add you to that list. So periphery, this is it. This is, oh my gosh. Now I'm become delete, the destroyer of codes. Hey, Franklin, welcome. Good to have you, man. So good. What's going on, Franklin? So I'm just, I don't know if you've just been lurking or you've just joined in, but I'm sharing this good tool that analyzes Swift code to find dead stuff. Like I said, there are false negatives, there are false positives. Just join. Awesome. Good to have you, even for the last few minutes at the end. Thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. So you use periphery. Yeah. Check this out, folks. This is worth doing. There are false negatives, false positives. You may need to tune it a bit, but give it a run. Like try it on your code, and you may be shocked, especially if you have an old project that has had like lots of people cycle through and very little time given by the powers that be to say, you can't just spend time cleaning. Well, absolutely you should. That this is a tool that will help you do that cleaning. It will identify the things that, and it doesn't depend on using app code or anything. It's just a tool. Check it out. Check it out. Recommend. All right. I think My only other thing was like, is mock popover a good name or not? And I'm not sure it is, especially inside of extra properties. I don't like it. I'd rather call it popover. And let's do that. Run the tests, and it's good. Ah, here's mock popover presentation controller 2. More weird stuff to clean up. See, here I was all eager to run ahead to the next thing, but there was still more to clean up. I'm going to keep the weirdo name QCO mock because it is still Objective-C, and so I want it want to have the prefix for now. Debabbage looks great. I have mixed ObjectiveC Swift code base, so I'll look for something on that side too. Yeah. For Objective-C, like give AppCode a try. Again, it doesn't. When stuff is calling each other across the boundary, sometimes it loses track and doesn't pick up on all that. But if you have like dead Objective-C code that it'll clearly identify it for you. In fact, let me just show you here. If I do a code inspection, or maybe it's not an inspection, code analyze code. What is it? I can't remember. Run inspection by name. Here we go. Dead. Or is it unused? Here. I can do analysis of unused stuff. Again, unfortunately, as you can see, most of it is Objective-C or C++. Not sure why I have relax in there. NG. I wish that the folks at JetBrains had time to work on improving app code. Unfortunately, because Swift is such a fast-moving target, I think they pour all their energy into keeping up on the Swift changes, and they have not provided the refactoring tools that I'm used to from working in Objective-C. But it's still way ahead of Xcode. All right. Let me commit this. This is basically, I did some renaming. So this is renaming. Oh, let me back up so to show Franklin here. My template for commits is I follow Arlo's notation, Arlo's Git notation that lets me identify, if I look in my history, things that are risky. Single letter things are not so risky. As soon as they have exclamation points, that's like higher risk, and then star is just broke. So here, and I'm getting better at this. There's probably like some things in here I didn't need to do. But there was also stuff in here around changing code that probably I wasn't comfortable with. Anyway, it is a way of basically encoding, and there are other ways to do this, of course. You may be using a notation where it's like marking a change as refactor or fix or, feature. That's pretty good. especially if you can keep your commits broken apart and if you don't squash them. I don't know why people are in love with squashing their work, because then you lose all this information. Anyway, time's up. This was good. I will, oh, I forgot. Commit. I was going to, do some rename. And I will commit and push. Actually, I'll commit because I want to see, I haven't checked CI to see if everything is still happy there. Well, let me do that real quick. Got my actions. Looks good. Looks good. All right. So let me give this a push, which I type with GP as an abbreviation. Git push. All right. Woo! Finally, progress. We were stuck on some stuff and going down some rabbit holes and getting all tangled, and I've been getting help from lots of folks, from the regulars, and I really appreciate it. So this feels good. Yeah, hey, love it. Again, for folks who are here, thanks for chiming in the chat. Franklin, I'm glad you joined even at the last few minutes. It's good to have you. Always good to I wish we could sit down together and do this, right? That would be more fun. For those of you who are watching this recording on YouTube, give it a like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I will see you hopefully next week. Take care.